The Weld County Sheriff in Colorado has issued a warning about a violent offender released back onto the streets today. Debisa Ephraim, 21, was released from the Weld County Jail after being found incompetent to stand trial after facing murder charges. Ephraim was originally arrested on April 5th, 2025 by the Greeley Police Department on suspicion of the following charges: criminal attempt to commit second-degree murder, felony, which is a felony, first-degree assault, serious bodily injury, which is also a felony, engaging in a riot, which is a misdemeanor. While still in custody, Ephraim was issued additional charges in a separate case by the Greeley Police Department on April 23rd, 2025, including, menacing aggravated non-family with a weapon, which is also a felony, first-degree burglary, no forced entry, residence, felony. And he's quoted as saying, not the person, but like the sheriff is quoted as saying, "I pray this individual doesn't hurt another innocent victim, but the public deserves to know about the past violent actions so they can protect themselves accordingly. God help this state." Oh, is there no volume? Okay. Content warning. So this is just showing some of his crimes, I suppose.
Oh, damn!
Oh, you could fucking hear that. Holy shit. This one's quiet. This is a quiet video. His hat got snatched. Why did you have to pull your pants down ever so slightly before you started throwing punches? That don't make no goddamn sense. That doesn't make any sense. These blue states, why do they release lunatics like this? Because they hate us. They hate us and they want us to live in fear. Oh, Elon Musk even commented here. He was found unfit to stand trial, so instead of getting help or facing justice, they let him go. That is insanity. This sheriff looks fucking tired. Look at him. Look into his eyes. He is experiencing the kind of tired that sleep cannot fix. I know that look, man. If only you knew how bad things really are. Holy shit. 21-year-old man who was charged with attempted second-degree murder was released from the Weld County Jail on Monday after courts found his competency could not be restored in the foreseeable future, the Weld County Sheriff's Office said. Look, man, if someone is charged with attempted second-degree murder and you have it on videotape and they're trying to claim that they're incompetent to stand trial, say, okay, if you're incompetent to stand trial and you're incompetent to understand how second-degree murder is wrong in society, electric chair, firing squad, lethal injection. I don't care how you do it, but if they're not competent to stand trial, they're not competent to exist in civilized society, man. Come the fuck on. Ephraim Debisa was arrested in April by the Greeley Police Department on suspicion of criminal attempt to commit second-degree murder, first-degree assault with serious bodily injury, and engaging in a riot, the sheriff's office said. He received additional charges from another incident later that month while in custody, and we read over all of those charges. Most of them were felonies. There was one misdemeanor. Debisa was found not competent to stand trial, and because there were no services available at the Colorado Mental Health Hospital in Pueblo, he was released into the public. The sheriff's office released a video on social media showing violent attacks, which they say were perpetrated by Debisa. We're releasing someone that we don't think should be released, Weld County Sheriff Captain Matt Turner said. We're releasing someone who is a danger to the community. The release stems from Colorado legislation regarding competency to stand trial. The sheriff's office stated that competency was raised in 2 of Debisa's criminal cases, and the courts found in July that his competency could not be restored. The case highlights concerns about a Colorado law and requirements for the release of offenders found incompetent to stand trial when mental health care is unavailable. Turner said there aren't enough beds right now at the state hospital. The way the law is written, he has a get-out-of-jail-free card, Turner said. According to a Greeley Police Department affidavit on April 5th, and this just goes over more of his crime. The victim was unconscious and he continues to punch him in the face. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. A woman who says her brother is the victim in the April 5th attack said her brother couldn't even remember his name after the attack and expressed fear about the release. The fear is that next time he will kill somebody, our local officials have their hands tied. I mean, yeah, he fucking will, dude. That's not even a if, that's a when it happens, man. That is insane. I fear that we're going to see another video like this in the future involving the same person. When that happens, the person who's responsible for this is Debiza. He is the person doing this, Turner said. He's responsible for this, but unfortunately, the way the law is written, he's not held accountable. What's that saying? That, like, the result of a system is what it was built for or some shit? If the way the law is written allows people to commit attempted murder and get away with it, then the way the law is written should be changed. The purpose of a system is what it does. Yeah, that's how it goes. Thank you, Ziz. Hololive Korone is being cancelled by the trans community. Korone has made a transgression. Apparently, she has decided to play wizard game. This mentally ill person says, there is no excuse for a VTuber streaming Hogwarts Legacy, with a screenshot showing that they're unsubscribing from Korone. I'm sure she will miss you. It's honestly pretty telling how the indie VTubing scene is like 45% trans women, yet mainstream normie VTubing has none. Where the fuck are you getting 45%? I have a feeling that it's more like 80% women and like 15% men. Some other mentally ill person says, I honestly feel like it says something if a scene leans extremely trans inclusive on the indie end, but people being paid for it are 100% cis. It never happens on accident. It's small media firms being aggressively transphobic. Not even men complain, because VTubing was born from idol culture, where the overwhelming majority of idols are women, and so thus the overwhelming majority of VTubers were also women for the very long time. There's not that many male VTubers, even in current year. Someone else here said, they're attacking her because they still think she and Cover are small enough to bend the knee. Note how people like, say, Jacksepticeye never get attacked despite also accepting blood money. Oops, I guess 30 million subs is the magic number to accept blood money. And so they show, I guess, Jacksepticeye's Super Nintendo World at Universal. Wizarding World of Harry Potter is at Universal Orlando. That's Korone with 2.24 million. And Jacksepticeye with 31 million. What the fuck? Blood money! Don't these people beg the government to send money to terrorists? It's very, very interesting. And it goes back to two pieces of advice I've been told. One piece of advice is, it doesn't matter if someone larger than you has said something. If you repeat it, you become the de facto target because you are smaller and easier to take down than the larger creator that said it before you. And then also, Asmongold during my cancel saga saying that it was obvious they were going after me because I am an easier target than he is. They sound so hypocritical, but you'd expect this from some people. And I would definitely expect there are some of these deranged people who do believe that Korone and Cover are small enough to bully into compliance. They're wrong, thankfully, but I would not put it past them to actually believe that. And then there's another tweet here from Kazehana talking about people trying to cancel Korone. This is another person, quote retweeting that person that showed that they were unsubscribing, saying, since this is Blue Sky and it's actually safe to say this here, if you play this dogshit PS2 graphics for $70 turf genocide funding game and you get flack and bullied for it, I hold zero fucking sympathy for you. Cry about it, guarantee it's less than a sliver of what trans people go through daily. And I don't have the screenshots on me, but I'm sure they're archived somewhere by people who are far more, thankfully, autistic than I am. Very autistic, non-derogatory. But during the Hogwarts Legacy campaign, when the game first released and people were making like lists to put streamers on to be bad people because they dared to play the wizard game, there were people who were lying about people they knew committing suicide because they wanted to make people even angrier at streamers for playing the game, and they wanted to continue pushing this weird narrative that playing wizard game will convince people to kill themselves. And finding out how these people were lying about it was a wild rabbit hole in and of itself. Like, it was crazy to see the levels of mental illness happening during Hogwarts Legacy. I don't even know what to say, dude. So, thankfully, Korone can just ignore all these people, and even if they try shitting up her chat, I'm sure they will get nothing done. Bless her mods. This is Tommy Robinson showing a video saying, "This is who Starmer has placed as Home Secretary, a literal Islamic activist. Dear US government, I would stop sharing military information with these infiltrators ASAP."
Many of the MPs, particularly on the government benches, had to stand up and say, "I have received many emails from my constituents about this issue." So please, keep up the pressure on your members of parliament. Go to their advice surgeries. Take 20 people with you and ask them to justify their views on Palestine and on Gaza. And if they say they support Gaza and support the plight of the Palestinians, ask them to evidence it and to take some action to show solidarity. That's how we can make a difference, because Israel's actions, its killing of children, its bombing of schools and hospitals, must be condemned without equivocation. We know what they've done is wrong. If David Cameron fails to speak out, that is a moral outrage. He may stay silent, but we will never stay silent. So let out an almighty roar and tell this government we will not stay silent until the Palestinians are free!
Well, that's an interesting Home Secretary for the UK. That's just as confusing as politicians in the US constantly talking about Israel. It's like, how about you talk about the US more often? What the fuck? Why is she the Home Secretary is a question. Keir Starmer really tempts Fed posting? Yeah, I can only imagine. The mayor of Evanston, Illinois, admits that he warned illegal aliens about planned ICE operations. Why is he leaking info on federal operations to criminal illegal aliens? Charge him.
And allow them to roam free on American streets. Daniel Biss is out front now. He is the mayor of Evanston, Illinois, a suburb, obviously.
Why does he look like he got his face smushed on the side?
Right outside Chicago, home to 10,000 international students at Northwestern University, among others. So, Mayor, I appreciate your time. I know you've just warned your entire city publicly that ICE operations are imminent. And I should also state that you are running for Congress as a Democrat, as you and I sit here speaking. But, Mayor, you say this is imminent.
If he's warning people about ICE presence so that illegals can hide more efficiently, not only should he no longer be whatever position he is, what was he? The fucking mayor of Evanston, Illinois? But he should all definitely not be allowed in fucking Congress. Holy shit.
So what else do you know? Or are you also basically in the dark? I mean, what do you know about what's about to happen over the next few hours and days?
Well, first of all, I am absolutely in the dark. The Trump administration wants to keep us guessing, wants to use our uncertainty to keep us afraid. But the reason that we communicated with our residents this morning is that I got information from a senior state official last night indicating that they had good intel, that they thought it was likely that ICE would be coming to Evanston today and in the coming days. And we just felt that we had a responsibility to let our residents know so they could work to protect themselves. We've been doing everything we can to protect our residents from before Donald Trump took office, passing strong sanctuary laws to make sure our police are not cooperating.
Passing strong sanctuary laws to protect criminals and illegals. I repeat myself, though, because illegals are already criminals. And not your constituents. This is why nobody fucking likes you, and you have to cheat to win.
With federal civil immigration enforcement, protecting our data, switching off our license plate cameras when we learned that that data was being shared.
Whoa. What do you mean switching off your license plate cameras? I feel like that allows a lot more criminality than just the illegal immigrants. What the fuck? So breaking the law. Damn, bro. Back up there, buddy.
But we also need to make sure our residents know as much as possible so they can take the steps they need to protect themselves.
I really hate how a lot of these like local politicians have switched from talking about immigrants or illegal immigrants or citizens, and they just say residents. And I feel like that is even a far worse obfuscation than conflating legal and illegal immigrants. Because when you say residents, nobody knows who you're talking about unless they've been paying heavy attention to the fact that all of these people prioritize criminals over the actual citizens who live there. Isn't that necessarily obstruction as well as aiding and abetting? Yeah, but I mean, with how many people are trying to reject ICE, I mean, they already brought a federal lawsuit against Mayor Michelle Wu in Boston. I don't know how many of these politicians they can efficiently go after. I would love to see all of them fucking fire up lawsuits and lose their positions. I just don't know how feasible it is if, like, this many of them are banding together. And this is why I say, like, if we were able to band together and basically give a huge fuck you to the people pushing all of this Marxist shit, we could actually get some shit done.
Samir, the DHS announcement comes on the same day that the Supreme Court made, it was a stunning decision, okay? They have given President Trump a green light for ICE to continue its roving patrols, right? And to pull people aside, any reason they want to. Is there anything your residents can do if this is what ICE starts doing now that there's been this ruling?
Well, we need to be really clear about what we can and cannot do. And we want people to be aware of the risks so that they can make appropriate calculations. It's part of why we communicate the way they do. And I know that there are people staying home. I know there are people keeping their children at home from school. There are
good. They can get deported together as a family.
Businesses unsure about whether or not they should operate, and they're making their own calculated decisions. But we have to do everything we can. And so we're doing that both as a city and, frankly, as individuals.
But why are you doing everything you can to protect criminals instead of protecting the actual citizens that you're supposed to serve, you piece of shit?
Trained in rapid response. So now when ICE comes to town, I get a text. I'm able to go immediately to the location, share rights that individuals have with them, inform them of their rights, videotape, bear witness, hold ICE officials accountable. We
hold them accountable for getting criminals out of our country? What the fuck do you mean by this?
All need to do what we can in this moment. We're only going to be successful in protecting our communities from these attacks in solidarity.
That's not an attack!
President Trump's border czar Tom Homan was on with Jake yesterday. He defended it. Here's what he said.
I think I have the Homan thing in another tab somewhere, but I don't know where. How is this not a federal crime? I don't know how it's not a crime, but it should be, because you are aiding and abetting people here illegally. Imagine if he put that kind of effort into something that he was actually supposed to do. Imagine. We have Mario Newfels over here saying, breaking, Tunisia says Greta Thunberg's quote-unquote bombed Gaza flotilla actually had a cigarette fire. Tunisia's National Guard has declared claims of a drone attack on Greta Thunberg's Gaza flotilla boat completely unfounded. Wow! I'm so shocked that she was lying, saying the fire was caused by a lighter or a cigarette butt in a life jacket. The Tunisia National Guard's Facebook statement, initial investigations show that the fire on board the ship broke out in one of the life jackets as a result of a lighter or a cigarette butt. There was no evidence of any hostile act or external targeting. Earlier, Greta Thunberg claimed, I am currently at the port in Tunisia after one of our boats carrying humanitarian aid was bombed. National Guard spokesman Hussein Eddin Jibabli confirmed the investigation is ongoing and no drone has been detected. The Sumud flotilla had set sail from Barcelona aiming to break Israel's naval blockade of Gaza. The Portuguese-flagged boat's crew reported safe after the incident. This is sourced from the Tunisia National Guard. And you have like a little picture of the fire here. Just a little fire here. Greta looks like she would play any bratty sister trope from the 90s. And there is an image here of what the fire looked like after it was put out. Here's a little video.
Hi everyone, Yasmin here. The family boat has been officially attacked. A drone came right above it, released a bomb, and it exploded, and the boat was on fire. Everyone on that boat is okay. The fire is out. But I want to tell you that this boat was the boat that every person from the Madeleine, old Madeleine crew, was on, which is Greta, me, Tiago, Schweib, and so many more amazing people. They have bombed a boat once again with civilians on it in Tunisian territory. This is an attack against Gaza because they don't want us there.
This is an attack against Gaza on a Portuguese boat set sail from Barcelona in Tunisian waters. This is attack against Gaza. I bet one of them probably purposefully flicked the cigarette over there so that they could have this media moment, assuming that nobody would know otherwise, and they would just eat the narrative of, oh, Israel does like touching boats. This is completely believable. If they did, you would be dead, you dumb bitch.
So we need you to mobilize. Let's not stay quiet. Hi everyone.
No matter how much you dislike Israel, they wouldn't mess up sinking a boat this badly. Oh my god. Yeah, Nux covered the story this morning. Based Tunisians calling out Greta Thunberg's absurd lies. Some Spanish boat followed the flotilla and blasted Israeli music all the way to Tunisia. I have another tab here. New footage from Greta's boat shows a crew member misfiring a flare, which lands back on the boat. Oh yeah, listen to those water noises. Hold on, let me turn down the volume so it doesn't explode our fucking ears. Damn, bro. The ceiling bird has been angered. Was it on accident? I don't know, man. You can't really see. We've been hit, he says, by fucking what? I feel like the screaming help and the fact that he was standing there when, like, whether it was a flare or a cigarette, you know, a flare misfire or a cigarette that caught something on fire, the we've been hit. You know, I'm thinking this is kind of suspicious. It sounds like maybe it wasn't an accident. Oh. Porn acting is not the same, I know. The acting in porn really breaks my immersion.
We've been hit. We're on the flotilla vessel. Off the coast. We get the wind hit.
You like how the alarm speeds up? Yeah, same. I'd be like, damn, they put a bomb in our fire alarm. Look at that ceiling bird go. Do boat fire alarms do that? I don't know. I've never had a fire alarm go off on a boat because I've never had anyone misfire a flare or fuck up grilling on one before. Mary Harrington here said, no wonder there's near total silence on the U.S. left-wing press on Iryna Zarutska's murder. There's just no obvious way to make her murder intelligible within America's bitter race politics without fueling right-wing narratives. What an interesting thing to say. And then this guy named David Aronovich, Rono-bitch, said, a black guy murders a white woman on a train in North Carolina. It's captured on CCTV. It's horrible. But no more horrible than many murders committed by white guys on women, none of whom receive a fraction of the attention being paid to this. Why do we think that is? What the fuck? And then this guy, Christopher Snowden, I don't know who he is either, said, if you don't think that a young female refugee being murdered in cold blood by a madman with a long string of convictions in a public place on camera in front of witnesses is newsworthy, then maybe journalism is not for you. And I was like, is this David Rono bitch a journalist? Because that would make a lot of sense for his callous attitude. So I looked him up, and it says, David Morris Ronovich is an English journalist, television presenter, and author. He was a regular columnist for The Times and the author of Paddling to Jerusalem, an aquatic tour of our small country, Voodoo Histories, the role of conspiracy theory in modern history, and Party Animals, My Family, and Other Communists. He won the Orwell Prize for Political Journalism in 2001 and the What Papers Say Columnist of the Year Award in 2003. He previously wrote for The Independent and The Guardian. And down here it says, Ronovich is the son of communist intellectual and economist Sam Ronovich and brother of actor Owen A.A. Ronabitch, and author and screenwriter Ben A.A. Ronabitch. His parents were atheists whose quote-unquote faith was Marxism, according to A.A. Ronabitch, and his ethnically half Jewish and half Irish. He has written that he was brought up to react to wealth with a puritanical pout. So it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that this guy is like, yeah, my parents had faith in Marxism, and now he's saying dumb shit like this. That is the least surprising thing that I have seen today. 100% A.A. Ronabitch, true. So, we have this little video here. A woman berates migrant at subway station in France. What a way to phrase that, by the way. So, this migrant, this immigrant, probably not there legally, tries to grab this woman's bag, and she says, "What are you doing?" Nobody around her looks up. He's telling her to keep her voice down. She's saying, seriously? And telling him to move while he's telling her to keep her voice down. She says, no, you don't take my bag like that. Are you crazy? She said, I don't care. I don't understand what you're saying.
You wanna say my people now?
I don't care. Don't touch my bag. So this guy comes up and tries to steal her bag. None of the men around her do anything because, you know, that's just how we are in Western society now. It's by design. It's by design. Also in France, jihadis threaten to burn down Notre Dame Church. Again, in Paris, unless authorities release Ibrahim Ali-Sawi, who killed 3 French people. We demand the government of France to release our brother, Brahim Aoui Spaghetti. Brahim Spaghetti. If he is not set free, then God's wrath will be upon your people here in France. And then they set fire to a scale model of the Notre Dame. And he does the typical pointing up finger thing and says, your churches will burn by God's will. And then they just stand here. They just stand here, I guess. So, literal terroristic threat. And in the middle of this, French Patriots announced massive nationwide strike on September 10th, demanding new elections after Macron's government collapse. France belongs to the French, out with Macron. So, I don't have a video of it because it was years ago and I don't know what France's version of the FBI or CIA are called. But there was a guy who resigned from, I can't remember if he resigned or if he like just, you know, retired. But he was ex either FBI or CIA, whatever the French equivalent is. And he did an interview on some news station where he said that revolution in France is imminent unless politicians do something to stop the flow of immigration into France. And I believe that was about 6 years ago at this point, 5 or 6 years. So it doesn't surprise me. That something is finally happening. And there is a little bit of an article here. French parliament ousts prime minister, deepening the political crisis. France's parliament brought down the government on Monday over its plans to tame the ballooning national debt, deepening a political crisis that is weakening the Eurozone's second largest economy. Lawmakers voted to oust Prime Minister Francois Bayrou and his minority government with 364 votes against the veteran centrist politician and 194 in his favor. President Emmanuel Macron, who is facing calls from the opposition to dissolve parliament and resign, will instead hunt for his fifth prime minister in less than 2 years. I think this is how you know that you're fucked. His office said he would appoint one in the next few days. The next government's most pressing task will be to pass a budget, the same challenge Francois Bayrou faced when he took office 9 months ago. Securing the backing of a very divided parliament will be equally as hard. You have the power to bring down the government, but you do not have the power to erase reality, Bayrou told lawmakers before losing the confidence vote. Reality will remain relentless, expenses will continue to rise, and the burden of debt, already unbearable, will grow heavier and more costly. Bayrou will tender his resignation on Tuesday, his office said. He had called the confidence vote to try and win parliamentary support for his strategy to lower a deficit that stands at nearly double the European Union's 3% ceiling, and to start tackling a debt pile equivalent to 114% of the GDP. Opposition parties were in little mood to rally behind his planned savings of 44 billion euros, $51.51 billion doodles, in next year's budget, with an election for Macron's successor looming in 2027. This moment marks the end of the agony of a phantom government, far-right leader Marine Le Pen said, pushing for a snap parliamentary election, which Macron has so far ruled out. Macron is now on the front line facing the people. He too must go, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, leader of the hard-left France Unbowed, said on X. A lengthy period of political and fiscal uncertainty risks undermining Macron's influence in Europe at a time when the United States is taking tough on trade and security, and war is raging in Ukraine and Europe's eastern flank. The French president could now normalize a politician from his own centrist minority ruling group or from the ranks of conservatives as the next premier. But that would mean doubling down on a strategy that has failed to yield a stable alliance. He could also tack to the left and nominate a moderate socialist or choose a technocrat. No scenario would be likely to hand the next government a parliamentary majority. It was inevitable that the need to form a new government would result in a dilution of the deficit reduction plan, Finance Minister Eric Lombard said before the vote. Macron may eventually decide that the only path out of the crisis lies in calling a snap election, but he has so far resisted calls from Le Pen's national rally and from France Unbowed to dissolve parliament a second time. And I remember the first time I read about him dissolving parliament, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that sounds so wild to me, because that's not something we can do we can't just dissolve our Congress, you know? So, like, hearing that that's like a normal, everyday kind of thing that could happen in France is like, what the fuck? That's so wild, dude. Financial markets had anticipated the confidence vote would fail, and there was little immediate reaction on Monday. French markets face another test on Friday when Fitch Ratings reviews its sovereign rating for France. Moody's and S&P Global follow with their own rating reviews in October and November. Over the near term, I'm sure everyone in markets expects paralysis and downward pressure on ratings, said Chris Cisaluna, head of economic research for Daiwa Capital Markets. As for now, the outcome was as expected, so markets should react in a modest way. France's EU peers will be watching closely. France holds the highest deficit as a percentage of GDP in the Eurozone, the bloc using the EU's single currency. It pays more to service its debt than Spain, and spreads against benchmark German 10-year bonds are at their highest level in 4 months. A rating downgrade would hamper France's ability to raise money at low interest rates from investors, potentially deepening its debt problems. The socialists have offered a counter-budget that would impose a tax of at least 2% on personal wealth greater than 100 million euros, $117.5 million doodles, and generate savings of 22 billion euros, a proposal that would be tough to marry with the pro-business reform agenda of Macron's presidency. Discontent may also start brewing on the streets. A grassroots protest movement called Bloquons Tout, Let's Block Everything, is calling for nationwide disruption on Wednesday. So I guess we'll have some French riots to cover on Friday. Trade unions are plotting walkouts the week after. Like many in France, Mohamed, 80, who sells who sells produce on the Aligre market in Paris doesn't think the politicians will find a way out. Come back in 10 days and you'll see nothing will have changed. There won't be a majority, there will be no budget. I'm glad that the last quote in this article is from a proud Frenchman. This lady said, France is erupting, the flag is flying, the streets are filled, people have had enough. Marine Le Pen says Macron collaborated in importing cartel-linked migration into France. And now the debt, crime, and collapse are undeniable. Raise the colors isn't just a chant anymore, it's a movement, and Macron is running out of time. It's unrealistic to claim to our country's budget imbalance can be resolved without tackling the four major taboos: immigration, the state's spending habits, fraud of all kinds, social, tax, import, cartels, and so on, and France's contribution to the European Union. How dare he... This is people calling for Macron to resign.
Flag fever has spread to France as the furious French demand an end to immigration and Emmanuel Macron's debt binge. Inspired by the British Raise the Colours movement, the French have been out in force, flying the tricolour from motorway bridges, their houses and in the streets. Ordinary citizens say the movement is a backlash against the elite and one of celebration of their country and its history.
It's simple. Flood the country with the French flag. You have to put it everywhere, on all the windows, the buildings, walls, roundabouts, bridges. Replace the colors of Palestine with the colors of our country.
The country faces a debt crisis so grave the country could face an IMF bailout. To avoid this, the Prime Minister wishes to confront it with tax hikes and spending cuts.
So France is about to enter their Boogaloo stage. Very interesting. Very interesting to see what they will do tomorrow when the planned protest is. Protesters burst into the residence of Nepal's corrupt foreign minister Arzu Rana Dweba and beat her and her family. They are mad, bro. She's dead now? They killed her? What the fuck? Can I show this? Yeah, they're just fucking throwing wood at him. They're not doing anything crazy right now. She died? Not in this video. Axie, thank you. Viva la Foxu! True and real. Gurkland doesn't fuck around. Jesus. Is she the one they burned to death? Jesus fuck, what? They do not fuck around when it comes to communists. Jesus! I like how that guy selfie cammed for a minute there. So, yeah, they, broke into that foreign minister's house, beat her and her family. Let's see what else I have for here. Tommy Robinson tweeting out a video here. Nepalese government banned social media last week to regulate misinformation. Tommy Robinson can relate, living in that 1984 nation of UK. This is the government building today as ministers flee in helicopters. This does not look like something that I would be viewing in 2025. This is like crazy to look at. Look at how many people. Look at how many people are down here, dude. There are so many fucking people here. That's a collapse. Oh yeah, this is not a collapse. This is a coup. This is a revolution. They look like ants scrambling around. This is what an unironic revolution looks like. Nepal in chaos as uprising erupts. Nepal's government is crumbling. Enraged citizens are hunting down officials, stripping and beating them in broad daylight. Protesters have torched the homes of MPs and set the parliament building ablaze. The streets are no longer safe for the ruling elite. This follows a ban on all social media, and corruption from politicians were exposed. Nepal has declared war on its government. So I retweeted this. In Nepal, citizens storm the Communist Party headquarters and tear down the hammer and sickle flag. Actually fucking based, bro. They do not fuck around. They do not fuck around. Imagine living under the tyranny of communism. Do you hear the people sing the songs of angry men? Fucking rip that flag down, man. Listen to the cheers! No more commies. Based Nepal. So back to that other video. Historic yeah, that's gonna be a historic video. That's fucking great, dude. So this other video, Nepal has declared war on its government. I don't know if that's DMCA music. I have no idea what song that is. This is some sort of politician person that they stripped down to their underwear and made them run through the river. His name was John Cena. Lo-fi beats to kick the shit out of commies too. True and real. Rip VOD watchers. I don't know what the music is, so better to mute it. Better to be safe, you know? Oh, that guy's in an Adidas tracksuit. Just a little bit of blood on that guy. He got a little tussled. God damn, they are angry. Yeah. Yeah, they are. Oceanyan, thank you. Nepal has declared war on its government. Huh, odd way of saying the people are holding their elected officials accountable. Yeah, it's an odd way to say that, you know? The river is cold as fuck because of the Himalayas. Is that where I get my pink salt from? Damn, that is a big building on fire. Holy shit. Cheeky breaky, true. There's so many fucking people here too. Like, that's insane. Oh, here's the communist flag being taken down again. Makes you wonder what stories of Nepalese corruption and injustice were killed in the media in favor of another nothing burger. So this seems like an overreaction to normies. Well, it's like, I have no idea what the state of Nepal has been like, because I don't live there. I don't really get too many stories out of Nepal. But if they're banning social media, if they're trying to control the flow of information a la China, yeah, I can see that being like the final straw that broke the camel's back for these people living and tolerating communism. That's where I get my pink salt from that has been underground for 2 million years, was just taken out in time for you to eat it. Thank you. Is Nepal the place with the triangle flag, or are you thinking of a different country? I think it is. I think it has a triangle. Yeah, I think their flag is like the thing that looks like an angry alligator, right? Yeah, you can see it here. Ah! You can see it here. The like angry triangle alligator flag. Makes you wish you'd stayed in touch with some people you knew years ago they moved to and currently live in Nepal. Could have given some valuable insight. Oh, that would have been wild to hear. They blocked the Foxu. Millennia. A building behind that looks pretty fucking cool too. Not an FBI, thank you for the You just know somewhere Hassan is saying, this is Asmongold's fault. Truly, Asmongold led the coup in Nepal. Oh, the guy being made to wade through the water is Nepal's finance minister. He was stripped of clothes and chased into the river by angry protesters during deadly anti-corruption protests. But it's okay, you don't have to call it, this is a literal coup. You don't have to use the protest language here, man. This is an actual revolution. Here's another one. In Nepal, politicians ban social media use and citizens burn down parliament. Politicians flee by helicopter. You can see that building on fire that we saw in that other video before it was on fire. That's a nice looking building too. That's unfair. Hopefully they can rebuild it. It's fiery but mostly peaceful. True. True, if the communists want to use that language on us, this is a fiery but mostly peaceful revolution. No humans were harmed. Kathmandu burns after bloody coup, but Nepal Gen Z protesters carry victory march. Earlier in the day, protesters set the private residence of former Prime Minister KP Sharma Ali in Bhaktapur on fire as demonstrations against the government. Protesters were seen dancing and celebrating as the private residence of Ali was burning. Gen Z protesters in Nepal carried out a victory march following the resignation of Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Ali on Tuesday amid violent protests against social media ban and corruption in the country. Ali's secretariat confirmed his resignation, local media reported. Here's another video, people protesting in Kathmandu against the government over alleged corruption. Prime Minister Sharma Ali has resigned amid the violent protests that took place in the national capital city. Damn. Is it really a resignation at that point? It's more of a leave or die ultimatum? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a resignation if you're literally being threatened with being killed for how corrupt you are. Why are they saying Gen Z? I have no idea. I can't, like, even just looking at this crowd, it's very obviously not only Gen Z, so I don't know why they're saying that. Lich Life, thank you for the dollary doodle. You love the Nepal flag. It's a pretty cool flag, I'll admit it. Damn, that guy's in a suit wearing the Nepal flag as a cape? That's fucking cool. Looks like people of all ages. Yeah, it looks like people of all ages are fed the fuck up, not just Gen Z, man. Oh, look at that guy's tummy. I can poke it. Tummy. There's a woman here? Who let this woman come to the violent revolution? I can't read whatever hieroglyphic language they write in Nepal. But why is there a sign that says no honky horn and it's like a literal cartoon clown horn on the sign? No tooting! No vuvuzelas! They discriminate against the Brazilians in Nepal? No clowns allowed! I was like, that's a very goofy sign. I like that sign. No honking! This was part of the reason for the revolt. That sign comes down next! Horns used to look like that when you bought them aftermarket to screw onto a car. Yeah, but that was like 100 years ago, man! It's actually still used for cars. Do not honk! That's not what a car horn looks like. No tooting! Oh my god. Look at that guy's shirt! Look at that, hold on, where is it? Nice! That is a good shirt to wear when you are committing to revolution. Nice, brother! Why did he just growl at me like a demon? Car and bike wash. Hello, military men's. the Wii Sports. Nice cock font. What the fuck? That's a big bottle of water. Wee woo, wee woo. Oh my god, their ambulances are jeeps? What the fuck? Why is there this one lost white guy here? What is he doing there? What? Look at how confused he is. Hold on a second. He just like comes into the frame looking incredibly fucking lost. Look at him. Like he's like, what the fuck? I just woke up and I wanted a burrito for breakfast. What is going on? The CIA agent. Look at how lost he looks. He's like, what the fuck? Inquisitive eyebrow. Even the cameraman is like, what is this white guy doing here? Even the cameraman zoomed the fuck in like, what is this rare specimen? Okay, guess I'm revolutioning now. Yeah, it's like, okay, buddy, fucking get ready to charge. I have no memory of this place. Oh my god, it was like a road trip. Damn, I wish I could whistle. I can't whistle. Bro wanted enlightenment and got revolution. Ah, yeah, potato, potato. And what is the speech?
Today I stand here with the dream of building a new Nepal, with a fire of hope and passion burning within me.
Damn.
But my heart is heavy because this dream seems to be slipping away. Rise and shines, futures of this upcoming imperial empire. I, Cigarrette, the head boy of this everlasting imperial institute, Holy Bell English Secondary School, welcomes you with open arms to our 24th annual program. I put myself before you this moment to shed light within your consciousness by piercing the dark nimbus that circles above you.
Damn!
I am present here today to immortalize a monumental change in the course of history. Nepal, our mother, this country gave us birth, nurtured us. But what did it ask in return? Just our honesty, our hard work, our contribution. But what are we doing? We are bounded by the chains of unemployment, being abroad in search of opportunities. We are trapped by the selfish games of political parties. Corruption has woven a web that is extinguishing the light of our futures.
Damn.
Youth!
I can't even say anything else besides damn. Like this is a damn good speech. He just unzipped, whipped it out, flopped it on the podium. He gives a better speech than most politicians. Holy fuck.
Rise! We are the torch bearers of change. If you do not raise our voices, who will? If you do not raise our voices, who will? If you do not build this nation, who will?
True.
We are the fire that will burn away the darkness. We are the storm that will sweep away injustice and bring prosperity.
Bro, I'm jealous. We need someone to give like nationalist speeches like this in the US and the UK and France. And maybe Germany in like the next 50 years or so. I feel like they're a little far behind.
Our ancestors shed their blood to give us this nation. We cannot sell it. We cannot lose it.
Our ancestors shed blood to give us this nation. We cannot lose it. This bro goes fucking hard.
We are the fire. We will burn every despair away. Now we must decide. Will we drown in the darkness of despair or rise as the sun of hope?
Holy shit. Good on you, Nepal. Good on you. Unfathomably based. That was a fucking badass speech. God, that could rile anyone up. Earlier in the day, protesters set the private residence of former Prime Minister Starmer Ali in Bhaktapur on fire as demonstrations against the government. And this is, oh, their house is pink. Cute pink house. And it's next to a cute greenhouse. Why don't we have fun colored houses anymore, chat? This is an 8-minute video, so I'm just gonna kind of schmoopily whoopily through here. There's a lot of stuff on fire. Yeah, Nepal. HOAs, fuck. I can't read their sign. It has a fist on it, which is weird since they're the anti-communist, but you know, oh, that's a cute gate. I like that gate. There's some army peoples. I guess that makes sense. There's a bit of blue in their uniform because of the jangles. It looks upside down. We have pink and purple house right next to each other in the town that you live in. Oh, man.
Communist detected on American soil. Lethal force engaged.
I always find it amusing that the people who constantly talk about punching Nazis and killing fascists get incredibly angry when I say the same thing about communists. It's like, at least I am careful about who I call a communist. Army is on the side of the revolutionaries. Yeah, the army decided, fuck it, we're revolting too. Oh, I like that column. Oh, those are nice columns. I want nice columns. Dude, they are just fucking hucking. I feel like if you haven't already left your house and it's gotten to this point, like, you're just kind of fucked, man. The military turning on you is how you know you fucked up. Sacred War Holy Song. Patchouli, thank you. Death is a preferable alternative to communism, quoted by Liberty Prime. Yeah, better dead than red, baby. There's another woman. That looks like a white woman, too. What the hell? What is she doing there? Let's see what else is here. Did they finally break through the gates? She's also touring the white woman jump scare. Oh my god, the house is already on fire on the inside. Someone must have, like, chucked little fire bombs in there or some shit. Another shiny. Yeah, fuck that shelf. You never realized it was just a verbose. Better dead than red. I wonder how it feels to burn down the house of your corrupt prime minister. I wonder what these people are feeling right now. You know? I don't know. Goes hard with the background music. Well, my background music is called Chill Beats to Commit War Crimes too, so, you know, it's fitting. Oh, they're feeling warm from the fire. Did anyone bring marshmallows? Like, if you're gonna set your prime minister's residence on fire, when are you gonna get another chance to do that? You should bring the marshmallows, man. Maybe like some hot dogs? Take your chances. I like all the pretty colors on their houses, though. As per the Himalayan Times, demonstrators gathered near Prime Minister KP Sharma Ali's private residence in Balkot, demanding accountability for Monday's fatalities. Oh, fuck. That's a bit more than just angry about social media. What are the fucking fatalities? During the protest, demonstrators set fire to the residence. Protesters were seen dancing and celebrating as the private residence of Ali was burning. Here's another video. A dead delivery boy that got run over by the cops? What the fuck? Why? You just imagined yourself shoving a stick on a Porsche to marshmallowize it. Hell yeah. Oh, look at the guy with the umbrella. Regarding Ali's resignation, a Gen Z protester said, why are they all Gen Z? We are very happy that the Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Ali has resigned. Another protester said, "It's very good for our country that the Nepal Prime Minister Sharma Ali has resigned. Now the youth will stand and give its contribution in developing the nation."
Prime Minister has finally resigned.
Yeah.
So what is your reaction on this?
Yeah, we are very happy about that. It is very nice for our country. I think that develop our country.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. They even have broccoli hair in Nepal. It's universal.
Should be the next Prime Minister.
Balensa, the mayor of Kathmandu.
So the Prime Minister, he has resigned after a violent protest for 2 days. So what is your reaction over here?
It is very good for our country. Now I think like us youth will stand and develop the country.
So how do you take the action of KP Sharma Oli using the force on the students who were on the street yesterday?
Terrible. That's very wrong. That's very wrong. That was really violent.
So do you think the protest which started from yesterday
Was the First Lady of Nepal? What the heck?
Yes, I think. Yeah.
4 ministers had earlier resigned from the government: Nepal's Home Minister Ramesh Lakak, Agriculture Minister Ramnath Adhikari, Health Minister Pradip Paudel, and Sports Minister Tejulal Chaudhary have already tendered their resignations. At least 19 protesters died in clashes with police, and over 300 sustained injuries in Kathmandu, surrounding towns and agitations led by the country's youth against the government on Monday. The government lifted the ban late last night after violent clashes, but just hours later, protesters gathered in Kathmandu to renew their protest, alleging government corruption. Violent Gen Z protesters entered the Singha Durbar premises on Tuesday after breaking through its western gate, reported the Himalayan Times. According to the Himalayan Times, witnesses reported that the crowd forced its way past the main gates into the country's central administrative complex. A Singha Durbar is the seat of Nepal's government's various ministries and offices. The breach came amid the intensifying protests in the country. Authorities have already imposed curfews in key areas of the capital following the deaths of 19 protesters. Holy shit, that's more than just running one person over. What the fuck? In Monday's demonstration, Nepal's protesters also set ruling party offices and buildings in Janakpur on fire as violent protesters in Kathmandu continued on Tuesday. As protesters against corruption led by Gen Z intensify in Nepal, the India-Nepal border at Panitanki town in West Bengal's Darjeeling has been put on high alert. That's a weird pattern for camouflage. Green and then like a sand color? I don't feel like you'd be able to hide very efficiently with that. Beep. They have tassels on their truck. That's cute. I can't understand him, I'm sorry. They stopped speaking English.
कल से बहुत सारे चालक अंदर वहाँ घुसे हैं उस सब से बातचीत हुआ सर कोई फंसा हुआ है कोई झमला में जुड़ गया कोई घटना हमारे पास खबर नहीं आया है अगर कुछ ऐसा होता है तो डेफिनेटली
Depends on where you're trying to hide, though some have simply forgotten the purpose of camo, I guess.
जितना भी स्ट्रेच है वहाँ पे
Camo works from afar, not up close? Really? With like a dark green and a really light tan?
हम लोग जो पुलिस की तरफ से जो हमारा डिप्लॉयमेंट है जो
It's more meant to break up the human silhouette in urban or semi-urban environments. Ah, okay.
जो ऑफिशियल ट्रांजिट पॉइंट्स हैं जैसे आपका यहाँ दिख रहे हैं आप हमने यहाँ पे राउंड द क्लॉक नाका सिस्टम कर दिया है. So in case of like illegal immigration से या तो ऐसा कुछ क्योंकि हो सकता है.
Why did he say in the case of illegal immigration and then switch back to not English? Why did they have no words for that?
कि वहाँ पे भागदौड़ मच रही इस तरह से आए तो सिचुएशन कैसे कंट्रोल करने का. अभी तक हमारे पास ऐसा कोई खबर नहीं आया है. हमने नाका स्टिकर लगा रखा है.
I guess he is not. There's nothing I will be able to glean from that. I apologize. Superintendent of Police Praveen Parkash said that the police patrolling in the border area has been intensified. A police post has been set up here at the roundup with deployment of force. We're in alert mode and monitoring the situation with the help of security agencies and the Nepal police. There's no information about anyone being stuck. The police have heightened patrolling at the border area. Wife of ex-Nepali Prime Minister burned alive. Oh my God, it is real. The wife of former Prime Minister Jalanath Kanal died Tuesday after she was burned alive when her home was set on fire amid violent anti-government protests in the country, regional media reported. The Nepalese parliament building and the homes of political leaders were torched in the unrest, which has plunged the Himalayan state into a full-blown crisis. The protests, which are being led by Gen Z, erupted on Monday in response to the government's ban on major social media platforms, combined with a long-standing resentment about political corruption and lack of opportunities. The government repealed the ban on Tuesday. Prime Minister Sharma Ali and other key officials have stepped down. Demonstrators ready to continue into a third day. At least 22 have died and hundreds have been hurt in the unrest. Tens of thousands have defied curfew as the military calls for calm and negotiation. Why do they keep talking about Gen Z? That's a great question, because like even in this image, you can tell there's a bunch of people here that aren't in Gen Z. I don't know, maybe like Gen Z started it, question mark? I don't know. This guy looks like he's part of some like Nepalese mafia, dude. He looks kind of ready to rumble. This is at 7:35 p.m. Eastern. Violence is not the answer, says UN Human Rights Commissioner. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, warned that violence is not the answer as he urges Nepal security forces to show restraint as the protests look ready to roll into their third day. I am appalled by the escalating violence and #Nepal, which has left many young protesters dead or injured. Reports of the disproportionate use of force by the authorities need to be urgently investigated. Dialogue, not violence, is the way forward. Okay, so he's saying stop attacking the protesters. I was assuming I'm used to the messaging in the West where they're like, oh, you protesters, you can't do anything, okay? You know, you gotta just sit there.
I plead with security forces to exercise utmost restraint and to avoid further such bloodshed and harm. Violence is not the answer. Dialogue is the best and only way to address the concerns of the Nepalese people. It is important.
Yeah, so I am glad that he's not being like, the protesters need to stop their violence in this case. He's just like, you communists, maybe don't keep killing the protesters.
Protesters have the right to express peacefully their political frustrations and grievances over corruption and a ban on social media platforms. I have received concerning reports of unnecessary and disproportionate use of force by the security forces.
Do you think that we'll see someone from the UN saying the same thing about the UK if they start staging a coup? That they'll be like, look, UK government, we know you guys are oppressive and you're instituting bans on certain kinds of media, but maybe don't kill your citizens. Do you think they'll say the same thing about the UK?
I call for an urgent, thorough, transparent and impartial investigation into such acts. I'm also disturbed by reports of public buildings, businesses and private residents being attacked. And
oh, there it is. There it is. No, you see, they weren't setting private citizens' houses ablaze according to all those videos we watched. It was politicians and government buildings.
Some instances set ablaze. Equally, I'm concerned by reports of physical attacks on senior government officials. I remind protesters that they too must uphold the spirit of peaceful assembly. And
what do you think it'd be like to be someone in the middle of a revolution against an oppressive government that is corrupt and also killing protesters? And then you watch this video of this guy chastising you? I wonder what goes through people's heads when they see that kind of stuff.
Refrain from violence. The world has admired Nepal's emergence from conflict to become a peaceful democracy, and I appeal to all Nepalese stakeholders to find a way forward to continue.
I don't like those two sentences that he just said, because that makes me feel like some fucking Western country is gonna swoop in and install a puppet, and I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see that happen, dude.
Continue on that path. Together with the United Nations system, my office stands ready to support dialogue and trust-building measures that can help de-escalate tensions and restore confidence.
That is the newest thing. Damn. I wonder what, like... Because it says it's the wife of the former prime minister. And it's not the Ali guy who just resigned. So I wonder, I don't know anything about the Nepalese government, so I have no idea what the former prime minister did either. Embassy of India, Kathmandu says all Indian nationals in Nepal are hereby requested to note the following telephone numbers from the Embassy of India, Kathmandu, for contact in case any are facing emergency. That's the bottom of that article. Nepal's political survivor swept from office by fury at protest deaths. Nepalese communist leader KP Sharma Ali was sworn in as prime minister a year ago, promising stability and jobs, but resigned abruptly on Tuesday after the worst unrest in decades, amid accusations of corruption and authoritarian rule. His resignation following violent anti-corruption protests that left 19 people dead was the latest twist in a roller coaster of political career that has mirrored the volatility of modern Nepalese politics. From a teenage revolutionary imprisoned for 14 years to a 4-time prime minister, Ali has been a central player in the political and economic uncertainty that has beset Nepal since protests led to the abolition of its monarchy in 2008. They abolished a monarchy and then communists immediately tried to swoop in, bro? What the fuck? Sworn in for his 4th term in July last year as the country's 14th prime minister since 2008, Ali, 73, vowed to fight corruption and poverty in the landlocked country wedged between India and China. Well, this makes it even more confusing, right? If he is a 4th term prime minister, why was the previous prime minister's wife set on fire? What the fuck did they do? The seasonal political survivor was unable to withstand a wave of public fury that forced him from office on Tuesday over the authorities' use of lethal force against demonstrators the previous day. Can I just ask why Reuters is calling a fucking communist dictator dude a seasoned political survivor? Can I ask that question? An aide to Ali said the outgoing prime minister's private residence had been set on fire by demonstrators celebrating his ousting. Television images showed protesters barging into the compound and ransacking the property, shattering windows, breaking pots, chairs, and other furniture, before setting the structures on fire. Security forces, appearing to be outnumbered, watched from a few meters away. There was a lot of dissatisfaction among the people with the government and political leadership. This only exploded yesterday. The carnage had made people sensitive. Bipin Adhikari, a prominent constitutional expert, told Reuters hours before Ali resigned. His decision last week to block access to several social media platforms, including Meta platforms Meta.o, Facebook, sparked nationwide protest led by Gen Z activists who accused him of silencing dissent and protecting a corrupt elite. The government denied trying to throttle free speech and cited misuse of social media to spread disinformation and commit fraud, among other concerns. Protesters also blamed Ali for many of the Himalayan nation's ills, saying his latest tenure as prime minister was marked by entrenched corruption, economic stagnation, and authoritarianism. Nepal is one of the world's poorest countries, and political instability has discouraged investment and hobbled its economic development, forcing millions of young people to seek work mainly in Malaysia, South Korea, and the Middle East. Born in 1952 in eastern Nepal, Ali's early life was marked by hardship. I don't really fucking care about the early life of a communist, I'm gonna be real honest. He was a founding member of the Communist Party of Nepal, Unified Marxist-Leninist, or CPN-UML, and became prominent nationally, developing an ability to forge political alliances. He held key ministerial roles, including as Interior and Foreign Minister, and served 4 times as Prime Minister. Ali first assumed the premiership in 2015, at a time when a blockade of its border crossings with India left the country short of fuel and medicine for several months. His government responded by signing a transit agreement with Beijing, ending India's monopoly over Nepal's trade route. Both Asian giants have been locked in a high-stakes battle for influence in Nepal, and Ali's fall will be closely watched by India and China. Considered by some political watchers to be closer to China, Ali has adopted a tougher line with India in his first term, as he whipped up nationalist sentiment while altering Nepal's map over disputed land by including territories controlled by India. He told Reuters in 2022 that Nepal under his administration would be neutral and non-aligned. You want to know about if he spent his early life in a communist China? I mean, I guess I could take a peek. I just didn't want to read like an entire early life biography. Born in 1952 in eastern Nepal, Ali's early life was marked by hardship. His mother died of smallpox when he was 4, and his family was displaced by floods, forcing him to live with his grandparents. He entered politics as a young activist aligned with the communist ideology and was imprisoned for 14 years during the 1970s and 1980s for opposing the monarchy, an experience that shaped his political outlook and public image. It's just being sympathetic to him being a fucking communist. Considered by some political watchers to be closer to China, he told Reuters he was neutral and non-aligned. And I'm sure if we lived in Nepal, we would know quite a lot more, but we can only read what we have access to. Alright, we made it. I made it through both France and Nepal's governments collapsing. What an interesting time we live in. And I hope the people who are trying to take back their nations do end up staying safe, man. Violence is always a scary thing, and nobody wants it to happen. So hopefully people are able to take care of themselves during these dark times, dude.